Hello and welcome to English for You. I'm Seb.
I'm Kathy.
And today we're going to be talking about stray animals. So what is a stray animal?
Well, it's a pet animal like a dog or a cat, but they don't have a home.
Ah, I see. Stray dogs and cats are very common in lots of countries. And Taiwan is no different. Taiwan also has lots of stray dogs and cats. You've probably seen them on the streets or in parks or maybe by the river. Kathy, how do you feel when you see a stray dog or a stray cat?
Well, actually, every time I see stray dogs and cats, I feel really sorry for them. The reason I feel sorry for strays is that living outside without a home is hard. And when they get sick, disease might spread, causing other animals to get sick too.
Yeah, that's true. It must be very difficult living on the streets. Sometimes, though, I feel a little bit nervous when I see especially stray dogs. I really like dogs, but stray dogs sometimes can be aggressive. They can be very angry or they can try to bite you.
Or attack people.
So it's always a good idea to keep your distance a bit from stray dogs. Probably they're fine, but you never know how an animal is going to behave. Anyway, it's very difficult, this problem of strays, because we want to help them, but also having strays can cause lots of problems for people too. And so how can we fix this? Well, today we're going to be looking at an organization here in Taiwan that has found a pretty good way of helping strays live healthier lives, but also helping people live with strays. So let's look at this organization in today's article.
Reading.
Heart of Taiwan Animal Care. Showing love and saving lives. Successfully controlling stray dog and cat populations is challenging. This is especially true in Taiwan, where there may be as many as 500,000 on the streets. When nothing is done, stray animals breed quickly. They can bother each other and cause problems for people. But what's the best way to prevent this? Heart of Taiwan Animal Care, HOTAG, is an organization that's giving strays a better quality of life. Since 2012, it has been helping Taiwan improve the way it handles strays. Before, if animal centers couldn't find a home for strays, they put them down. It's estimated that over 1 million strays died this way between 1999 and 2015. This method isn't just cruel, it doesn't work well. HOTAG found that it was much more effective to neuter and vaccinate strays. The more strays it neuters, the slower the population grows. Vaccinating the animals stops diseases from spreading. This allows strays to stay healthy enough to be adopted into homes. In these ways, HOTAG is giving strays a new lease on life.
Today's article starts by saying, successfully controlling stray dog and cat populations is challenging.
It is certainly very challenging. Stray, that's an adjective. And a stray animal, such as a dog or a cat, as we said in the introduction, is lost or has no home. So it can also be used as a noun. So we can either say a stray animal, a stray dog, or a stray cat, or we can say a stray. And a stray is just any animal that has no home or is lost.
今天文章一开头就说呢，要成功控制流浪狗和猫的数量是一件很挑战的事情。这里我们看到 stray 是形容词，指的是迷路的、无家可归的。而 stray 也可以当名词，意思就是流浪动物。在这句当中，我们同时也看到了 population 这个字，它有人口的意思。不过在这个句子里面解释为动物的总数，表示猫与狗的数量。
The article continues, this is especially true in Taiwan, where there may be as many as 500,000 strays on the streets. Sorry, as many as 500,000 on the streets. Here you'll see that we're using 500,000 to stand in for strays. So this sentence would be correct if we said 500,000 strays. But because we're talking about strays, we don't need to put that word in there. We can just say the number.
那接下来文章让我们看到一个统计来证明控制流浪动物的数量很不容易。这里说呢，在台湾尤其如此，有将近50万的流浪动物在街上无家可归。这句当中已经明确指出特定的地点就是台湾，所以后面的 where 引导的关系子句就只是作为补充说明用了。我们来看一下关系副词 where 的非限定用法。关系副词同时兼具连接词和副词的功用，引导关系子句来修饰先行词。Where 做关系副词时，修饰表示地点的先行词，而用法则分为限定与非限定。我们来看下面的例句。A 呢，这里说 The street where I used to live has changed a lot. 我以前住的那条街改变了许多。这是限定的用法。因为先行词 the street 并没有特定指哪一条街，所以需使用关系子句 I used to live 加以限定，表示改变许多的是那一条我以往住的街道。而如果是这个饶河 street where I used to live has changed a lot， 饶河街我以前住的那条街改变了许多，那就是非限定用法了。关系副词前加上逗号，饶河 street 是先行词，因为明确指出哪一条街，所以呢不用关系子句加以限定，语义就非常完整了。Where I used to live 只是作为补充说明先行词用的。
So the article continues to explain the problem. It says, when nothing is done, stray animals breed quickly. Okay, so stray breeding can become a big problem because it causes something called overpopulation. Before we get into that though, let's quickly just talk about the word breed. When two animals breed, they have a baby. Now, we normally use this verb more to talk about animals, but we could use it for people technically, but it's very strange to use it with people. Normally we're talking about animals. So if lots of these animals are breeding, then they're having lots of babies. And this causes overpopulation, one word. So when there is overpopulation, that means there is too many of one kind of animal or of people in a certain place. So an overpopulation of strays could cause a lot of problems.
这篇文章说呢，如果没有做任何的改善，这些流浪动物就会繁殖得很快。Breed 这个动词指的是动物进行交配繁殖。Rabbits breed quickly， 兔子繁殖得很快。Or you can say, for example, the blackbird, like most birds, breeds in spring. 乌冬和大多数鸟一样，在春天繁殖。
That's why you can hear them all singing in the trees. We can see this problem with breeding too much when we read on. The article says they can bother each other and cause problems for people. Right, bother is our first vocab word for today's article. It's a verb, and when you bother someone, you annoy them. If you have a little brother or sister, they might bother you when you're trying to do your homework or relax. They might ask you a lot of annoying questions or try to get you to play with them. Because you don't want to play with them, this bothers you. It annoys you. Here's an example sentence of how we can use that. Susie bothered her roommate when she played loud music late at night.
这里出现一个和 brother 有点像的字哦，叫做 bother， 打扰、烦扰的意思。To annoy or cause problems for someone. For example, you can say, "Don't bother your father when he's working," or "I'm sorry to bother you, but could you help me lift this suitcase?" Bother 也可以做名词用。意思为麻烦、问题 trouble or problems. For example, I can take you there. It's really no bother, meaning it's really no problem.
Next, the article goes on, but what's the best way to prevent this? What is the best way to stop overpopulation and all this breeding?
Here in the article, it says that an organization has a solution for this problem. The article says Heart of Taiwan Animal Care, HOTAG, is an organization that's giving strays a better quality of life.
Right. The article continues, since 2012, it has been helping Taiwan improve the way it handles strays. Okay, so handle is a word you will see a lot and it has lots of different meanings. But in this case, we're using it as a verb. And normally, when you handle something physically, you carry it or you control it with your hands. See the word hand is in there? You could pick up a ball and handle it. For example, you could handle a bike by steering it and riding it. Similarly, when we handle a problem, we find a solution for it or we manage it. So in the article, we're not using handle specifically to say to use our hands. We're saying that HOTAG is handling the problem of strays. It's finding a way for there to be less strays without hurting them. So if a teacher handles a difficult class, then they find a way to make the children listen and behave well. They make the class work better. Here's another example. The government has handled the city's homeless problem well. So here we're saying that they've found ways for homeless people to have somewhere to stay, or they found ways for there to be less new homeless people.
Handle 当名词时有柄或者是把手的意思，而这里句子当中的 handle 则是当动词用，指处理、应付。To deal with, have responsibility for, or be in charge of. 我们来看一个例子。Some people are brilliant with computers, but have no idea how to handle other people. 这里的 handle 就是 behave with 的意思。So back to our article. Here it says, before, if animal centers couldn't find a home for strays, they put them down. Here, put them down means to kill an animal that is old, sick, or injured to prevent it from suffering. 所谓的安乐死。
Right. It's a kinder way of saying kill, basically. So the article continues, it's estimated that over 1 million strays died this way between 1999 and 2015. Wow, that's a lot of strays.
文章这里说呢，在1999年到2015年之间，估计约有100万只以上的流浪动物被安乐死。这里我们看到了 estimate 这个字，意思是估计、估算。To guess or calculate the cost, size, value of something. 它在文中呢是被动用法，所以用 it's estimated 来表示。Here's another example by using the word estimate. They estimate that the journey will take at least 2 weeks.
The article continues, this method isn't just cruel, it doesn't work well. Okay, so we're talking about a method that the Taiwan government was using before to have there be less strays. Now, method is a noun, and it's a way of doing a thing. Doing a thing that will reach a specific goal. So, a method has steps and helps people work towards something. So, the method this article is talking about is the way that Taiwan is handling strays. For example, the teacher taught the students a new method of solving the math problem.
那这篇文章就告诉我们了，安乐死这个方法呢，不止很残忍，而且效果不佳。这里出现了另一个单字 method， 方法、方式 ，a particular way of doing something. For example, the new teaching methods encouraged children to think for themselves. 新的教学方法鼓励孩子独立思考。
We also saw another vocab word in that sentence, and that was cruel. Now, cruel is an adjective, and when you are cruel towards someone, you behave toward them in a way that is very hurtful, especially if you don't care how they might feel. So, bullies, 恶霸, can be very cruel to the people they are bullying. Bullying, 霸凌, is a form of cruelty, which is the noun form of cruel. If you're still unsure of what the word cruel might mean, it's the opposite of the meaning of the word kind. So you're being really, really mean to someone. Now, if you're being very cruel, someone could also say that you are heartless. Now, someone who is heartless is extremely cruel and doesn't care about anyone. They don't have a heart and they're horrible. So we couldn't really use heartless in this sentence, but we can use cruel. Fiona's mother was cruel to her when she was young, so they don't speak to each other anymore.
Cruel 这个形容词意思是残忍的、残酷的。例如 Don't tease him about his weight. It's cruel. 别拿他的体重开玩笑，这样太刻薄了。而除了残忍的意思 cruel 还有 causing suffering 令人痛苦的意思。For example, his death was a cruel blow. 他的死是个无情的打击。So how does the HOTAG solve this problem? Here the article says, HOTAG found that it was much more effective to neuter and vaccinate strays.
I see. They're neutering and vaccinating strays. Well, these are two quite difficult words. You don't really need to study them for your exams, but they are important to this article. So let's look at them in some more detail. When we neuter an animal, actually a male animal, we do a special operation so that male animal can't make female animals pregnant. We do some special things to that animal. So actually, if we want to talk about neutering a female animal, we don't say neuter, we say spay, S-P-A-Y. And vaccinate, what does vaccinate mean? Well, when you get vaccinated for something, a tiny bit of a disease is pushed into your body so that your body learns how to fight that disease. That means that if you catch that disease in the future, you might not get sick. In fact, you probably won't get sick. When you get a vaccination, you will become safe from that disease.
这边我们来看两个稍微比较难的单字。第一个是 neuter， 就是节育、阉割或是结扎 ，to remove part of an animal's sexual organs so that it cannot produce young animals。例如，你可能问你的邻居啊 ，Has your dog been neutered? Another word that we're going to take a look is vaccinate， 是动词的注射疫苗，而疫苗这个名词的英文就是 vaccine。
So the article says, the more strays it neuters, the slower the population grows. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Because then the dogs can't make other dogs pregnant. Okay, it looks like we had a grammar point there, the more and the slower. So why don't you explain that for us, Kathy?
Okay, let's go to the grammar part. 在这句当中，我们要来看一个文法 ，the more 怎么样的 slower 怎么样，表示越怎么样就会越怎么样的意思。那第一个 the 所引导的副词子句，第二个 the 所带领的才是主要子句。例如 ，the earlier you start studying, the better you will do on the test. 你越早开始念书，考试成绩就会越好。而如果比较级形容词用来修饰名词，不是当补语使用的话，那么修饰的名词应该呢跟在比较级形容词的后面。我们来看一个例句 ：The more healthy food you eat, the less chance you have of becoming sick. 你吃的健康食品越多，生病的几率就会越少。So the article then goes on and tells us the advantage of vaccinating strays. It says vaccinating the animals stops disease from spreading.
Right, it does. It stops diseases from spreading. Disease is a noun, and a disease is a condition that makes you feel sick. Diseases can be minor or not important, or they can be serious or very important. So a cold is a disease, but so is cancer, 癌症. You often have to be careful when you have a disease because you don't want to infect anyone, 传染. When you infect someone, that helps the disease spread. Let's look at an example sentence. Stephen suffers from a nasty disease he caught while he was traveling abroad.
Sab 老师例句中的 nasty 可以解释为严重的，那 disease 就是疾病、病的意思了。
The article continues, this allows strays to stay healthy enough to be adopted into homes. Adopt is a verb, and when you adopt an animal, you take that animal into your home and raise it as part of your family. Adoption is the action of doing this. You can also adopt children. This is popular with some parents, and it can be a great way of giving a good future to a child that might otherwise have a difficult future. Let's look at an example sentence of adopt. Michelle couldn't have her own children, but she adopted a child and raised him herself.
Adopt 就是领养. For example, they've adopted a baby girl. So that's our last word, I think.
It is. It seems that we are getting to the end of this. No, we have one more sentence, don't we? We do.
And so the article finishes by saying, in these ways, Hotak is giving strays a new lease on life. A new lease on life 就是新的生机或活力更加的健康状态。
So we'll talk more about Hotak in tomorrow's article, but first let's go to today's For You Chat.
For You Chat.
Okay, our For You Chat question for today is, there's a saying in some countries, a dog is for life, not just for Christmas. What do you think of this saying, and why do you think it's important?
Well, this is a very good question. Like people might get puppies as a Christmas gift, but after a while they might lose interest in keeping the pet, and this is when they dump them. So I think if you really want a dog as a pet, be prepared to keep it until its life ends. It's like having a family member, a friend by your side, not just an animal that you get on a special day and then throw it away whenever you want. I think this is important because by doing so, you will show love and care and also treasure life even more than before.
That's a very good point. You need to make a commitment to the animals that you are adopting. All right, well, that is all the time we have to talk about the For You Chat question. Here, you guys can discuss it, and tomorrow we will join you to talk more about the great work that Hotak is doing. So, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Heart of Taiwan Animal Care. Showing love and saving lives. Successfully controlling stray dog and cat populations is challenging. This is especially true in Taiwan, where there may be as many as 500,000 on the streets. When nothing is done, stray animals breed quickly. They can bother each other and cause problems for people. But what's the best way to prevent this? Heart of Taiwan Animal Care, HOTAG, is an organization that's giving strays a better quality of life. Since 2012, it has been helping Taiwan improve the way it handles strays. Before, if animal centers couldn't find a home for strays, they put them down. It's estimated that over 1 million strays died this way between 1999 and 2015. This method isn't just cruel, it doesn't work well. HOTAG found that it was much more effective to neuter and vaccinate strays. The more strays it neuters, the slower the population grows. Vaccinating the animals stops diseases from spreading. This allows strays to stay healthy enough to be adopted into homes. In these ways, HOTAG is giving strays a new lease on life.
Vocabulary Review. Bother. I won't ask Jim for help because I don't want to bother him. He's studying for a test. Handle. The coffee shop clerk couldn't handle all the customers' orders by himself when the shop got busy. Method. The farmer developed a new method to make his apple trees grow faster. Cruel. The cruel boss made his employees work hard in a hot factory for 16 hours a day. Disease. The doctor realized that Brian had a terrible disease and sent him to the hospital for treatment. Adopt. Sally and Ted adopted a baby who didn't have parents and raised her as their own child.
智慧小补帖
Stray. Breed. Estimate.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作，活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net